The rain tapped against the large front windows of Rosie's diner like impatient fingers, the kind that never quite give up. Inside, the fluorescent lights buzzed softly over cracked red vinyl booths, and the familiar smell of coffee that had been brewing since 5 a.m. Before we go deeper, if you believe kindness still matters, if you believe treating every human being with dignity, please like this video. Share it, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to Silent Struggles. And also tell us in the comments where you're watching from. We love hearing from you. Asterisk Emma Carter wiped her hands on her faded blue apron and shifted little Noah higher on her hip. At 26 months, he was still light enough to carry during the dinner rush, but heavy enough to make her lower back complain after hour 9. Tonight the dinner rush was more of a slow crawl Tuesday. In early November brought mostly regulars, and the occasional trucker trying to outrun the storm. Asterisk. She glanced at table 7. The older gentleman in the charcoal overcoat had been there almost 40 minutes. He'd ordered only black coffee and a slice of cherry pie, eaten exactly 3 bites, then pushed the plate away. No wedding ring, no phone on the table. Just quiet watching. Asterisks, people watching, was part of the job. Emma had learned to read tables, the way meteorologists read clouds. Some stormy, some empty. A few carrying lightning you never see coming. She approached with the coffee pot anyway. "Warm up, hon?" she asked, voice gentle. Asterisk. He looked up. Still gray eyes, kind in a tired way. Deep lines around them spoke of decades, smiling at things the rest of the world had already forgotten. Asterisk, please, he said. The voice was low, polished, like old wood. Asterisk, she poured. As the stream hit the cup, Noah reached out a chubby hand and patted the man's sleeve. Asterisk, sorry, Emma murmured, pulling her son back. He's in the grab everything phase. Asterisk, the man's expression softened. No apology needed. He's beautiful. Asterisk, Emma smiled, the tired buttrill smile she saved for genuine compliments. Thank you. He's my whole world. She turned to leave, but the man spoke again. May I ask his father? Asterisk, the question landed softly. The way questions do when someone already knows the answer might hurt. Asterisk, gone. She said simply, before Noah was born. Car accident. We manage. Asterisk, the man nodded once. Slow. You're doing more than managing. From what I see. Asterisk, say Emma shrugged, cheeks warming. We get by. Asterisk, she walked away feeling his gaze. Follow her, not intrusive. Just present. Asterisk. An hour later, the diner had emptied 2-3 tables. Noah was asleep against her shoulder, tiny snores puffing warm air against her neck. Emma cleared the man's table last. Asterisk, the bill folder sat neatly closed. No cash on top. She opened it expecting the usual 24 coffee and pie. Asterisk inside. Nothing. Zero. Zilch. Not even coins. Her stomach dropped the way it did whenever rent was 3 days late and the fridge echoed. Asterisk. Then she noticed the plate hadn't been moved back to its spot. She lifted it. Asterisk, underneath lay a plain white envelope. No name. Just her handwriting from earlier table 7. Coffee plus pie, $8.40 scribbled on the corner in blue ballpoint. Asterisk, she glanced around. The man was gone. Coat rack empty. Front doorbell, still silent. Asterisk, heart thudding. She slid the envelope open with trembling fingers. A single folded sheet of paper. And beneath it, a cashier's check, made out to Emma Carter for $247,000. Asterisk. And 73 cents. Asterisk, exactly the amount she still owed on the hospital bills from Noah's emergency heart surgery 14 months earlier, the bills that had kept her awake every night since, calculating and recalculating how many extra shifts it would take to keep collectors from her door. Asterisk, she stared, the numbers blurred, then she read the note. Handwritten, elegant script. Dear Emma, I sat here tonight not because I was hungry, but because I needed to remember what hunger really feels like, not for food, but for hope. Asterisk, 29 years ago, I sat in a booth very much like this one. My wife had just died. Our daughter, 3 years old, was fighting leukemia. The medical debt was swallowing us alive. I was down to my last $47 in a prayer that felt too small. Asterisk, waitress Sion, tired, with a toddler of her own, brought me coffee I hadn't ordered. When I tried to pay, she shook her head. Asterisk, some days. The bill's already been taken care of, she told me. Today's one of those days. Asterisk, she never told me her name. She never asked for anything. That single act of anonymous kindness kept me from giving up. It gave me the strength to fight one more day. My daughter survived. She's a doctor now. She saves children every week. Asterisk, I never forgot that waitress. For years I looked for her, wanting to repay the debt. I never found her, but tonight I found her echo in you. This isn't charity. This is a circle closing. Asterisk, use it to breathe easier. To give Noah the childhood he deserves. And when the day comes that you see someone else carrying a child and too many worries, pay it forward. Was more gratitude than words can hold. The man in booth 7, asterisk, Emma's knees buckled. She sank onto the edge of the booth, clutching the paper and the sleeping boy. Tears fell hot and fast onto the check, smudging the ink just a little, asterisk. She didn't know how long she sat there. Long enough for the rain to slow to a drizzle. Long enough for her heart to stop feeling like it might explode. Asterisk when she finally stood, legs shaky. She looked toward the door. Asterisk he was already gone, vanished into the wet November night like he'd never been there at all. But he had been. And he had left behind something far more valuable than money. Asterisk he had left proof that sometimes the universe still remembers. The next morning Emma woke before dawn with the check still folded inside her sock drawer, like something fragile that might disappear if she looked at it too long. Asterisk she called in sick first time in 3 years. Then she sat at the tiny kitchen table staring at the piece of paper that could erase the dark cloud that had followed her since Noah's diagnosis. Asterisk she didn't deposit it that day. Or the next. Fear kept whispering, what if it vanishes the moment it touches the bank? Asterisk on the 4th day she drove to the small community bank on Maple Street. Mrs. Delgado looked at the amount, then at Emma's face, then back at the check. Asterisk sweetheart, she whispered, this is real. Asterisk when the funds cleared, Emma paid, with a hospital and one call. The woman on the other end said, paid in full, and Emma hung up and sobbed so hard she could barely breathe. Ugly wrenching sobs that scared Noah into clinging to her leg. Asterisk, she kept working at Rosie's. Not for money anymore. Further reminder, for the chance to be someone else's booth. 7 miracle. Asterisk 3 months later. One slow Wednesday, the bell jingled. Asterisk a woman in her late 20s walked in. White coat, stethoscope, pediatric oncology badge. Emma froze mid-pour. The woman walked straight to her. Yeah, Emma, she said softly. Emma nodded, unable to speak. Asterisk, I'm Leah Harlan. She extended her hand. My father, he told me everything. He begged me not to come. Said the gift was supposed to stay quiet. But I had to see you. Emma's eyes filled instantly. Leah continued, voice trembling now. He's outside. In the car. He wouldn't come in. He said he already got to thank your mother through you, and that was enough. Asterisk Emma looked through the rain-streaked window. The charcoal overcoat. The silver hair. He sat staring straight ahead. Shoulders hunched like a man carrying 30 years of unsaid thank yous. Asterisk Leah reached into her pocket and placed an old, worn photograph on the counter. Emma's breath stopped. It was her mother, younger, exhausted, apron tied tight, laughing in this very diner. Across from her sat a much younger version of the man from booth 7, and a tiny bald girl smiling despite everything. Asterisk your mother, Leah whispered, saved my life before I even knew what saving meant. My dad never forgot her face. For 29 years he carried her kindness like a heartbeat. When he saw you holding Noah the same way, he said it felt like God finally let him say thank you. Asterisk Emma pressed trembling fingers to the photo. Tears dropped onto her mother's smiling face. Asterisk I never knew, she choked out. She never told me she did that. She just did it. And then she got sick herself. And she fought so hard. And she's still, her voice broke completely. Leah stepped closer, and without asking wrapped her arms around Emma. Asterisk they stood like that in the middle of the diner. 2 grown women crying for mothers they had lost and mothers they had become. Asterisk Noah toddled over, confused, and tugged at Emma's pant leg. Mama sad. Emma knelt, pulled him close, buried her face in his soft curls, and wept harder. Leah knelt too. She placed her hand gently on Noah's back. Asterisk my dad asked me to tell you something, she said through her own tears. He said, tell her the circle isn't closed. Tell her it's wider now. Every time she helps someone else, her mother gets to hear the thank you she never got to hear in this life. Asterisk Emma looked up, eyes red and shining. Outside, the man in the charcoal coat finally turned his head. Their eyes met through the wet glass. Asterisk he didn't wave. He didn't smile. Asterisk he simply lifted his hand and pressed it flat against the window palm open. Fingers spread like a father reaching for a daughter he could never hold again. Asterisk Emma stood, still holding Noah. She walked to the window. She lifted her own hand. Their palms met through the cold glass, separated by 30 years. 2 generations. One single act of kindness that had refused to die. Neither of them spoke. They didn't need to. Asterisk the rain kept falling. Softer now, like the world itself was crying with relief. Asterisk Emma stayed there until he slowly lowered his hand, started the engine, and drove away into the gray afternoon. She never saw him again, but every night after that, when she tucked Noah in and kissed his forehead, she whispered the same thing her mother must have whispered to her all those years ago. Asterisk some days the bill's already been taken care of, baby. Today was one of those days. Asterisk and in the quiet that followed she would feel it her mother's hand resting on her shoulder, their stranger's gratitude echoing through time, and the small, stubborn heartbeat of hope that had traveled across decades just to find her again. Asterisk, because love, real love. The kind that pays someone else's bill when your own pockets are emptied as an end. Asterisk, it only waits patiently until the next tired mother needs to remember she is seen. Asterisk, Cinta, until the next child needs to believe the world can still be kind. Asterisk sint. When that moment comes, it arrives not with fanfare, but with the soft clink of a coffee cup, the scratch of a pen on an envelope, and two palms meeting through rain-streaked glass. Asterisk saying, without a single word, you were never alone, and neither was she. Asterisk, the end.